Hey, Ed from Precision Gun Reviews here, and I think you know what this is. It's the M&P 2.0 from Smith Wesson. Gonna go straight out of the box here. This is the 4¼ inch barrel. They're full size. There it is, with 2 magazines and 4 interchangeable back straps and palm swells. Get rid of this. And there you have it. This is the Smith Wesson M&P M2.0, a polymer-framed striker-fired double stack full-size 9mm pistol. It is 7.4 inches long. It is 5.5 inches tall, and it is 1.3 inches wide. It weighs 24.7 ounces, and it carries a capacity of 17 rounds plus 1 in the chamber. This is the update to the original M&P pistol, which has served very well and developed quite a track record for Smith & Wesson in the years since its release. But there were a few things that they thought they could improve upon, and they have. Let's start with the updates from the previous generation. Well, let's start with the compatibility. Yes, old magazines are compatible. Here I have an old M&P magazine. It functions perfectly. And related to the magazine, a couple of things that have been changed are: 1, a steel reversible magazine release. 2, this slide stop. How is that related to the magazine? Well, the magazine is what pushes the slide stop up into place. This slide stop actually finally functions as a slide release for Smith & Wesson. And also, some of you will be happy to note that this gun, this update, the M2.0, does not have the old feature, we'll put feature in quotes, of slamming home a magazine and having your slide go forward. No, and that's because of this little new mechanism involved in the slide release, and it holds that in place a little bit better and has a different style of notch there. So that's something that's good to note for those of you who were concerned about that in the original. Additionally, a lot of folks were unimpressed by the grip texture of the original M&P. So now we have this full coverage, aggressive stippling. It feels almost like skateboard tape, to be honest with you. When I first grabbed it, I questioned whether it was overkill, but sitting in the comfort of my home, gripping the gun is not like being out shooting it. And being on the range with this, you definitely appreciate the stippling here. It is not too aggressive, and it does hold tight in your hand, and a lot of people are going to really appreciate that. Additionally, we have this front portion. You can see through the frame here. This is where the polymer is cut out, and you can see back there to a couple of metal inserts that have been placed in this dust cover to increase frame rigidity. This is supposed to limit frame flex, which has an effect on recoil management, keeping the gun on target, etc. That I couldn't say that I sense a difference. If that's the case, great. What I can tell a difference with is the trigger. So this trigger, it's the same old 2-piece hinged safety trigger, but it has been updated. It is lighter. It feels better. The brake is there. It has a trigger stop in the frame there to prevent over travel. And what everyone's been clamoring for in the M&P series, a tactile and audible reset. There it is. And yeah, the trigger is lighter. It does feel smoother. I like this trigger a lot better than the original M&P. Now, after years of use on an M&P, the trigger will smooth out and you won't feel that grit in there. But out of the box, the M&P M2.0 is clearly superior. Other things of note are those palm swells I mentioned earlier. There were 3 on the original M&P. There are 4 now. This never affected me, but for those of you who found the large too large and the medium too small, this is easy to replace. And pulling that piece out of the grip is a lot easier. This slides in and out much more simply for those of you who do want to make that change. Not that you'll be making that a lot, but it's an improvement. We've also lost the Beaver Tail, what I thought was an unnecessary extension of the length of the pistol. Not that it was in the way of concealed carry. I didn't find it to be an important component of the gun, and they've shaved that off and streamlined the frame a little bit. You still maintain that 18-degree grip angle, very pointable. It's got the same steel 3-dot sights, both adjustable. They're both dovetailed into the slide, and they truly maximize the slide length to give you the best sight radius on this pistol, which leads to accurate shooting. One thing to note is they have made a little cutout here at the bottom of the grip to aid in clearing a Type 3 malfunction. We also have a very positive mag drop, which I always like. And if we want to open this bad boy up, we'll see a few more things. You don't have to pull the trigger. Smith & Wesson has this sear deactivation lever that you can push down as well, but I don't think that's necessary. Inside here we have a single captive recoil spring on a steel guide rod, and we have the 4.2-inch stainless barrel. And I don't know if I mentioned on the slide, we have the same old finish. It's now called Armornite because Melanite is trademarked. It's yet another name for the nitrocarburizing process, just like Tenifer, just like Melanite. Now we have Armornite. It's the same thing. There has been a little bit done to change the way the slide is designed. The relief cuts here are slightly different, and we do have these minor serrations at the front for press checks, for cocking. I don't think they're really enough to get a hold of, but some people will appreciate them. They look alright, but the slide serrations, these fish scale style serrations, have always been wonderful in the standard place for those. Now taking a look inside the gun, it looks very similar to the old M&P. We have a lot of steel for the slide rails to ride on, and we have some more steel in here to support the barrel. Well-appointed interior. The fit and finish on this gun is excellent. Everything is put together well, and you can't see really in here, but this does not extend all the way out. There's a gap where there's some polymer, and these are inserts of steel in the front. So that really tightens this up. That makes it stronger, but it's not so much that it's weighing the gun down. And this is a 24.7 ounce firearm, and that's pretty good for the size. It's got a striker block safety that is disengaged when you pull the trigger. No other external safeties except the trigger safety. Putting the gun together is easy, and there you go, you're back together. This M&P M2.0 is a fantastic update to the M&P. Do I think if you have the M&P already, you should run out and get the M&P 2.0? Well, that's up to you. I think it's a better overall firearm. I never had the full-size M&P, and this would make me want to have it. I do like the new stippling. I love the new trigger. The additional support in the frame I find fairly unnoticeable, but I appreciate that it's there. The new slide release is wonderful. I like to be able to have that option to drop the slide, even though I generally do an overhand slide rack to bring the slide home. And knowing that I have a steel part here that is reversible, I never had a problem with the old mag release. However, a steel part couldn't hurt. How much weight does that add? I don't know. It's actually hollowed out. So rather than a solid polymer piece, we have a hollowed out steel piece. Again, the sights are wonderful. They always have been. I've really appreciated the M&P sights, the steel guide rod, and captive recoil spring. It's really a finely tuned weapon. I think the new updates have really refined what was already an excellent design, and they've perfected this pistol as best they can. This gun can function well in a home defense or concealed carry role. It is their full size, but it's not as big as it gets, and it's still pretty light. At 24.7 ounces, this is carryable, and it's not thin, but it's just like any other double stack. So if you wanted to carry this, if you're able to conceal a gun like this, it's light enough to be reasonable. It does have this accessory rail with 3 slots, so it can function with a light, a laser. Really good. It's a very well-appointed firearm, and I do recommend it. As I said, no hang-ups, no hiccups, no nothing, and there never were. I had my M&P 9C for years and not a single bobble the entire time. This gun has a manufacturer's suggested retail price of $599, but you could find it around $475 to $500 if you look hard enough. And yes, we do recommend it here at PGR. So that's the M&P 9 M2.0 in the 4.25-inch barrel size. I hope you liked the video. If you do, give us a thumbs up and do subscribe to our channel to get all our videos as they come out. Thanks for watching, and until next time, you stay safe.